Now, a delegation came back this week from California after a very bumpy but exhilarating and slow, a little bit slow test ride on the Elon Musk tunnel system. What did that test say about its viability in Chicago, do you think?
Oh, I think it was a great example of a step forward, and that, as Deputy Mayor Rivkin has said, this isn't radical new technology. It's a Tesla in a tunnel, and it's a very basic thing that I think all Chicagoans can understand and be excited about. So the delegation that went out to the Los Angeles area recently for that opening was part of showing proof of concept, essentially. And it's still in development. We are still at the table in negotiations, but as Mayor Emanuel has said, this could be a transformative transportation investment for Chicago and contribute to our continued economic development and competition as a world-class city.
Do you really think that there's a market of people who will pay $25 or more per ride to get to O'Hare a few minutes faster?
Oh, I do. I think there's a huge market today of people who are paying much more than that to get frustrated sitting in a vehicle on the Kennedy because of the congestion of the Kennedy. Putting in this alternative, I think, will actually there'll be a huge demand for it. And there's a great segment of more premium business travelers or international travelers that are headed downtown and to places close by to downtown. So essentially, building this high-speed connection would shrink the figurative space as well as the literal space between downtown and O'Hare, bridging the economies of downtown and international connections of O'Hare. So we can see more economic development downtown, more tourism, more business, more conferences downtown, and that has a very powerful multiplier effect for the city.
They can already ride the CTA for a fraction of the cost. You don't think business travelers want to do that?
They can ride the CTA, and I think the CTA Blue Line is fantastic. I ride it every day myself.
Why do we need this then?
CTA has continued to invest and modernize in the Blue Line with the Your New Blue program, nearly $500 million of investments. The fact is, it's apples and oranges. We expect that the mode shift, if you will, the travel choices that they're making today compared to who would choose to take the system built by the Boring Company would primarily be people who are actually taking livery, taxis, rideshare, and who want that more express or customized service. So I think you'd see some switch over from the Blue Line, but for people who are working at O'Hare or economy travelers, it's probably less likely.
So how will the contract be structured then? If it's such a winner and you think there's this huge market, then will the city get a cut of the fares and a cut of the advertising revenues?
All those questions are part of our negotiations with the Boring Company, and we are still at the table with them, working diligently to craft and hammer out what we think is the best deal available for the taxpayers of the city. And we look forward to putting that to the City Council for their consideration.
I know, but can you promise Chicago that it won't be a deal structured like the parking meters where we hand it over, they get all the revenue for the next 75 years, and the taxpayers get the shaft?
I think we have to remember that this asset doesn't exist today. It's apples and oranges from the parking meter situation. Today, we have the choices we've already covered. We've got the congested Kennedy, we've got the Blue Line, and then other points to other destinations for people not going downtown. This would be additive to the city, and this would be totally at the risk of the Boring Company. And it's not too often when you have a private partner coming forward offering to make a major upwards of $1 billion private investment in transportation infrastructure that could have a real catalytic effect on our economy, as well as supporting our efforts to take cars off of the Kennedy, reduce congestion, reduce emissions, and overall grow our transportation options in the city.